Hello, friends. It's Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, February 4th, 2026. 26, or how they do it. The 6, right? All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition. We have Ruckus on the line, so I'm not going to take too long on the intro. I'm trying to blast through it as best I can here. Yeah, we're in a new world order confirmed today by Mr. Technocracy, J.D. Vance. Play that clip for you. Still, it's looking shady out of the White House, very shady, with this the Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. Seems like this is just another trafficking program out of the Ukraine. I don't know. You guys tell me. I'll show you some stuff here. And then, of course, a bunch of more Epstein news. It's just beyond the pale here now. So we'll cover all that as best we can. And World Governments Summit Day 2 for us here now, where they're saying what we've been reporting here, Simon and I, and all our other contributors for like the last 2 years at Weaponized News. Indeed, it's a new world order, multipolar world. The rest of the world is sick of U.S. hegemony, and all of that is developing rapidly here now. We'll have those reports for you. And we have we have to have a one world surveillance state for our health. And we'll hear from Bill Gates. We will hear from Bill Gates on this matter because he was our doctor during the bat time, kept us all healthy. I had no problems. I didn't listen to a word he said, but that's beside the point. He's still my doctor, right? So we'll cover all that. And yeah, the genocide in Gaza continues. They're stacking bodies. Last report in the last 24 hours, 25 now. It was dying out. We're like, meh. As Trump told us, peace in the Middle East. First time in 3,000 years. They were only killing, 2, 3, 4 Palestinians a day. Well, for you genocide fans out there, they picked up the pace today and killed 25 Palestinians. So the genocide is picking up pace once again here now. For those caring, I know not many do, but we'll keep tracking it because they got the same plan for you and I. Let me get to this day in history. We'll get Ruckus on and go through all of this insanity that we see in the news today. On this day of February 4th, going back to 1789, and I cut out a lot actually of this day in history because I knew we had a guest and a lot of news to get to. Anyway, President George Washington, first U.S. Electoral College chooses George Washington, Freemason, and as president, and John Adams as vice president on this day, 1789. 1794, French National Convention proclaims abolition of slavery. In 1861, on this date, Confederate President Jefferson Davis, Confederate Constitutional Convention meets for the first time and elects Jefferson Davis president of the Confederacy during the American Civil War on this day. In 1865, on this day, still part of the American Civil War, Robert E. Lee is named General-in-Chief of Confederate Forces. In 1938, on this day, Hitler seizes military control. Adolf Hitler seizes control of the German armed forces and places Nazi officials in key positions. In 1985, on this day, 20 countries but not the United States, of course, signed UN treaty outlawing torture. I think that's what American foreign policy is based on, is torture and trauma-based, fear-based mind control, right? I think so. Starting to look like that. In 1987, on this day, Ronald Reagan, the Hollywood actor, fake conservative, he had U.S. President Reagan veto of Clean Water Act is overridden by Congress, and the water's more polluted than ever. So as soon as the government tries to do something to help you out, watch out, because it's going to get 100-fold worse. 100-fold worse here now with all the government caring and help. It's much appreciated. 1988, on this day, where we heard this story before. We're watching a rerun of bad TV shows. In 1988, on this day, Panamanian General Manuel Noriega is indicted by a U.S. federal grand jury for drug trafficking and racketeering. Where have we heard this story before? And hey, we're gonna find the killer someday. If OJ was still alive, he would find him. He was looking for him till the day he died. But on this day in 1997, O.J. Simpson found liable in the deaths of Ron Goldman and Nicole Simpson in a civil court action. But if O.J. was still alive, I believe that he would still be looking for the real killers. And this is probably, many people say, what started the termination of the planet idea in Bill Gates' mind. I think it was raised up to be a eugenicist, depopulationist. But on this day in 1998, Bill Gates gets a pie thrown in his face in Brussels, Belgium. And we do have that report for you. And so many people say this was when the thought went through his mind, we need to go ahead and terminate the planet. Let's play this quick news report from this great historical event.
Police and security guards in Belgium were caught flat-footed today by a cowardly sneak attack on one of the world's wealthiest men. The target was Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates, arriving for a meeting with community leaders. Watch what happens when a team of hitmen meet him first with a pie in the face. Gates was momentarily and understandably shaken, but he was not injured. The hit squad piled on with two more pies before one of them was wrestled to the ground and arrested. The others, for at least the moment, got away. Gates went inside, wiped his face clean, and made no comment. He then went ahead with his scheduled meeting. No word on the motive for this attack.
Man, those guys, they knew what was up way back then in 1998, right? On this day in 2004, Mark Zuckerberg launches Facebook from his Harvard dormitory room. That's an official story. We're sticking to it. Nothing to do with the CIA, DARPA, none of that. It was all Zuckerberg from his Harvard dormitory room, you see. Life log, nothing to do with any of that for sure. In 2021, I guess we missed 21, yeah. 2021, on this day, U.S. ends support for Yemen war. Then President Autopen Joe Biden announces an end to U.S. support for Saudi-led offensive in Yemen civil war. And in 2025, just last year, on this day, we saw the first clinical trial approved to transfer genetically modified pig kidneys into humans, approved by your MAHA FDA. And here's our segue to bring on Ruckus and get it to all of this insanity for you. It's old Mr. Technocracy, J.D. Vance, talking about we're in a new world order. Yeah, we know, Mr. Technocracy. You're building the American technate in front of our face. But here he is admitting it or saying it, and with old CIA Kelly there.
what's happening culturally in Europe, what's their crackdowns on free speech. They just look less and less like we do.
Yeah.
And there's a real question about whether there's a massive shift happening now in terms of world alliances long term.
Well, it's definitely, I think, a new world order. I think the president has sought to it. There's a new world order in trade. There's a new world order in globalization and the way that we invest in our economy versus, foreign supply chains. There's a new world order, and the president is willing to shake up some old alliance structures. I mean, NATO, I think, is much different because of the president's leadership than it was 10 years ago. It was sort of coasting. It was effectively a protectorate of the United States of America. Obviously, you saw what happened in Venezuela. So, yeah, the president is putting a stamp on world history, but fundamentally in an America First way. Like
What?
Oh, yeah. It's America First way. We're in a new world order, according to the vice president there, J.D. Vance. Ruckus, how you doing this Wednesday?
Terrible. Terrible. It stinks. No. Yeah, I don't know. I got a bit of a headache, and the news ain't going to help, but maybe we can make light of some of it, hopefully, before it makes light of us or, worse. Anyways. So I'm just battling all my technology today and the bright lights in my face with an oncoming migraine. I can feel it already. It's going to be an interesting evening tonight. That's all I got to say. What's on the agenda?
Well, thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah.
And working through your suffering over there.
Oh, no, it won't hit me till later. I already know. I can tell.
Well, J.D. Vance says on Greenland in the same interview I won't play, I'll just read you his quotes here. He said, when asked by Megyn Kelly there, about Greenland, what's up with Greenland? He says, our missile defense system would be inoperable if Russia or China controlled Greenland. So God forbid, I don't think it's going to happen, to be clear, but God forbid some foreign country launches a missile, an ICBM at the United States. We couldn't defend ourselves if a foreign country controlled Greenland. Really? Why? Because we need an American technate out of Greenland, you see? That's why.
Did you say that was with Megyn Kelly? It was on Megyn Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me guess. That she screamed and said, this is exactly why we need to go in there like Vikings and raid and pillage and to take all the lamenting of the women and the children. She got her Conan mode going on, right? She's like, we just need to take it by force and kill everybody be damned. We're killing all the right people. Oh, wait, that's Lindsey Graham. Anyways.
They're about all the same.
Yeah, they're going to make any excuse. They obviously clearly want Greenland, and doesn't matter. I think at this point they could just say, well, look, folks, here's the reason, because a bunch of us uppity, like rich folks, we've had this plan going since the 1940s, yada, yada, and they just lay it all out there. Who's going to stop them? Who's going to say anything? What are they going to do? Go protest on the streets and get gang tackled by a bunch of custom border patrol officers and shot? Anyways, you see where I'm going with this. It's like, at this point, what does it matter? They could say any excuse. They're like, we need to do it because that's where the aliens are going to land, and just move on, just do it.
We found evidence of Jesus there. You know what I mean? So just make up whatever.
There you go. Now you're thinking.
Just make up whatever. Here's Trump. So see, we're wrong here. Trump's really the good guy, America First, Maha, all that. Here he is yesterday, talking about Epstein conspired against me. They conspired against me, so I'd lose the election or worse. And so Trump is the actual conspiracy theorist here.
Of Epstein, I will say there's a reporter named Wolf, and Epstein conspired. This just came out yesterday in the millions of pages of documents, how crazy this is. Conspired against me in order to fight like hell to make sure I lose the election. That's the only thing that was mentioned about me. Now, about Democrats, some really bad stuff, but about me.
Only thing mentioned in the Epstein doc dump was that they were conspiring against Trump in the election.
Either Trump is severely misinformed about what was in the files, or he's completely ignorant. I've discussed this with Patrick Henningsen on
He's
Sunday.
a gaslighting psychopath. He knows damn well what he did.
So, that's what like you got to choose one. It's like, which is it? Is he deliberately lying to us, or is he incompetent? Either one is not looking good for the president. Yes.
He's a psychopath, part of all of the secret society cult that runs the world. And that's the reality of the situation, playing his role as an actor to bring us into the new world order. And that's the truth of the matter. But the very, very small percentage of the public understands this here now, Ruckus. And that's what we're up against. We're fighting left wingers, right wingers, every kind of winger, trying to explain to them the situation, and they just can't hear it. So that's where we're at here now as independents, trying to tell people this is what's actually happening. Cut through all your American flag waving, please. Would-be assassin of Trump, Ryan Ruth. Remember this guy? He was sentenced to life in prison today. And we don't even know. This guy was like, what was he doing? Hiding in the bushes in Florida, and allegedly had some scheme how he was going to attack and assassinate Trump. And this guy's like looking like some kind of mind control victim intelligence agency asset kind of guy. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. You got life in prison.
Gavin will pardon him.
Pardon. Justice. This is concerning here now. This is very concerning because it's looking like they're shifting from, okay, we know Epstein's done, or at least that, the way they were running that is done, but the whole program is not done. And so it looks like they're reworking the program through Trump administration, through Melania Trump here now. This is very concerning, all while saying, oh, we care about the children. Melania Trump foster youth to independent initiative. First Lady Melania Trump has secured $30 million to support foster youth aging out of the system. Sounds well and good. Let's watch this short video, and I'll add more context for you here now.
I'm especially pleased to know that there is $30 million set aside for the First Lady's initiative on foster youth. Her foster care to independence program is going to benefit greatly by the bill that we're just about to sign right here at the White House. And I wouldn't be talking about it had it not been the passion and the drive and the influence of the First Lady.
Oh, well, you could trust that corrupt politician and the First Lady for sure. It all sounds well and good. I hope they do actually help the foster youth of America. But I just don't trust these bastards, Ruckus. I'm sorry. I believe they always have ulterior motives going on. Melania Trump says she's working actively to get Ukrainian kids released and promises update soon. I'm going to tie all this together. Let's play this short clip. Here she is saying it. Now she's a madam in the trafficking. Probably, most likely, was trafficked to Trump by Epstein.
Has President Putin agreed to release any more Ukrainian children?
I'm working on it. And we are in the process. So I hope we have success very soon. I will keep you posted.
We're getting to it.
She doesn't age or something? How much adrenochrome do you think she drinks daily?
14-year-olds could get married if this new law proposed in the Ukraine passes. There's a new draft proposal in the works to change marriage laws in the Ukraine. They're suggesting letting kids as young as 14 years old get married in exceptional cases, but only if the teen is pregnant or already has a child. For 16-year-olds, it would still be a need for, they would still need a court decision to go ahead with the underage marriage there. Right now, the standard age is 18 years old, as is recognized across most of the world, I believe, except for some U.S. states where you can marry your cousin at 4 or whatever. Old laws on the books still that they haven't gotten rid of. Anyway, that's going on in Ukraine. And then tying that to your friend of mine, Jay Dyer's all over the Epstein files as he's been forever, right? He says,
Johnny Vedmore.
And Vedmore too.
Oh,
Give these independents credit. Jay Dyer says in this post, looking for a 14-year-old girl from Odessa, Ukraine, is a major trafficking hub. And so here's the Epstein emails talking about it. Jay Dyer posted it there. And then wait, but there's more. And then here you go to show you once again. It's at all levels. Epstein was the elite level, right? But it's all the way down to your local cop. A Sydney, Australia property manager was arrested as the sixth member of an alleged satanic child abuse ring after police found what a magistrate called concerning and horrific material on his devices. Here's that short report. This is just him being arrested. Of course, they blur his face out for his for the victim's safety, I'm sure. So it's all tying together. It's still going on, probably stronger than ever. All of this.
I couldn't help but notice their law enforcement officers there executing that operation were not wearing like ski masks and hiding their identity. That's kind of weird.
It's weird nowadays, I know. More from Nicki Minaj. She says that the moon landing was fake, and so I'm glad she's on that track with us.
You know, like other conspiracy theories, like did we actually land a man on the moon? Did the president get the elections?
I don't think we landed on the moon.
You don't?
No.
I asked Elon this one. He said we did indeed land on the moon. You know, like other.
Again, she needs an interpreter. What did she say?
She said, I asked Elon Musk about it. He said we didn't land on the moon.
Okie dokie. So Nicki Minaj asked Elon Musk.
No, the reporter lady here, Katie Miller.
Yeah, no, that's Katie Miller. That's Stephen Miller's wife. But what did Nikki say? Again, it was like this weird gremlin.
She said no. She said no. I don't think we landed on the moon.
Okay. Yeah, she's all over the place doing all the things.
As we're set to go back to the moon this month, but now it's being delayed because of leaks. They tell us leaks, gas leaks. They can't figure this stuff out, right? But somehow we're going back to the moon. Let me tell you. Sad to report.
Meanwhile, we got the aliens flying around, right?
Meanwhile, we got illegal aliens all over the place. Sad to report here now, Turtle Mitch, Cocaine Mitch, scumbag, criminal, worst of the worst Republicans, Mitch McConnell hospitalized after experiencing flu-like symptoms. I'm sure they'll roll out a corpse and have him vote. You know what I mean? And so Mitch McConnell, sadly enough, I guess we have to pray for his recovery here now. He needs to retire, okay? And if we had any type of real government, they would say, hey, dude, it's time to, you're old, shot out, falling down, having strokes, hospitalized with the flu-like symptoms. It's time for you to retire, dude. You know what I mean? But no, quote, adults in the room will step up to the plate and act like adults and stop abusing these elders, Mitch McConnell, and we've seen that throughout the Congress. They get these 80 plus whatevers up there and just literally beat a dead horse until they're dead and still ride them on that vote, right? And so we wish nothing but the best for old Mitch McConnell. The adults in the room need to tell him it's time to retire now, bud.
Yeah, McConnell, don't get Feinsteined.
Oh man, they'll literally wheel out a corpse and they're like, and hold his hand up like Weekend at Bernie's. Oh, he voted yes on that one, right? It's like, what the hell, man? Come on. Old Howard Lutnick, Epstein's neighbor, listed much in the Epstein files. He's all pumped up about, and we should trust him now because he's part of the Trump administration, MAGA, Maha, whatever bullshit lies they tell us. These people are all insane criminals, but somehow, some way, of what Cantor Fitzgerald fame, missing the whole terrorist attack on 9/11 too, coincidentally enough. So perennial insider Howard Lutnick, now Commerce Secretary, is all hyped up about we're going to streamline access for America in the race for critical minerals now. Now we're in a Cold War, I guess, what do you even call it? An arms race against China and the rest of the world for these rare earth minerals as we're going into the new world order. And Howard Lutnick says, well, prior administrations were asleep at the wheel. The Trump administration is the opposite. We are the wheel. We're driving it forward. We're going to make investments where we need to make investments, put capital where we need to put capital, from partnerships where we need partnerships, and design outcomes that are good for the United States. I'm glad the government is involved in so much of our economy here, Ruckus, because otherwise we'd have a free market, free enterprise economy. So we need command and control from the top down to have any kind of economy at all in this country. MAGA, right?
Well, yes, you're correct. I mean, if yeah, they can't relinquish even a teensy bit of their control, otherwise their entire world will crumble, and we wouldn't want that now, would we?
More on Project Vault. That's this whole race now to streamline critical minerals, rare earth minerals, into American supply chains. J.D. Vance, in a speech about the critical minerals, said, together we want members to form a trading bloc among allies and partners, one that guarantees American access to American industrial might, while also expanding production across the entire zone. The entire zone? Oh, the American technate? Like the rhetoric and the language that they're using, they're telling us here now, Ruckus. J.D. Vance and Trump having flat out come out and said, hey, shut up, idiot Americans. We're building this American technate for your own good, or China and Russia will. But backhandedly, you read between the lines, that's exactly what they're saying here now.
And they're insisting these things are critical, right? They're critical, rare, whatever. Trump called them raw, I think by mistake recently. That was funny. But yeah, so the rare earth race, this Project Vault, but they're not saying exactly what they're critical for. These are not the types of things that we need to eat, live, sleep, and breathe. They're things that the military-industrial complex and the technocracy needs to proceed and to function smoothly. So yeah, but they won't discuss that now, will they? But I guarantee you, if you run down the list of these, you'd have a hard time defending that this is critical to me as an American citizen, that we need to go invade Venezuela for instance, or take over Greenland, and then probably Mexico and Cuba next, which I forget what's on the list here. But yeah,
Cuba's
what
next
for AI, so that we can like beat China? I mean, come on, silly.
We need these rare earth minerals to run phones, electric vehicles, jets, and weapon systems. So yeah,
it's critical.
It doesn't help us.
Without these things, we die. Don't you know? We keel over and die without all of that crap, right?
It doesn't help us one jack little bit, but it makes the military-industrial complex that much richer. U.S. hosts over 50 states to talk on mineral trade bloc against China. So we're in a Cold War right now against China on many different fronts. The United States hosted representatives from over 50 states today for a discussion on forming a critical minerals trade bloc. And not states like California or New Jersey. They're talking about sovereign countries, allegedly. South Korea, India, Thailand, Japan, Germany, Australia, Democratic Republic of Congo were among the 50 states. There are over 50 states at this meeting. So the Global South has but how's all this work? They got BRICS over here, economic bloc. Now we're creating a trading bloc for rare earth minerals. all that's going on. So we're going to watch that develop, these critical minerals to our life. You can't eat it, drink it. It doesn't help you sleep better. It keeps me up at night, but somehow it's in my best interest that I share this on.
Trust in Trump. Trust President Trump. There you go.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene told us this week that MAGA's all a lie. I trust her.
She was queen of MAGA, so
I know.
She would know.
She was queen of MAGA, queen of QAnon conspiracies, and now she says it's all a lie. So, U.S. government investigating Nike over allegations that the company discriminated against white people due to Nike's DEI policies and Target, according to a report out of CNN. So I'm glad they're doing this witch hunt against DEI, reverse discrimination against white people. Well, they run around calling us Goyim all day. You know what I'm saying? Here's who's this representative out of California? I believe this woman's a Republican, one of the few. She says that Kim Young is her name. And she says, Gavin Newsom tried to cover up major fraud across California. I'm shocked. You don't say. $32 million vanished in unemployment scams. I remember when that happened during the BAT times. No one ever held accountable. They blamed it on prisoners. They said inmates in California state prisons worked up some kind of scheme to have all these unemployment checks sent to unknown addresses, and we just can't seem to track down. But it was those guys already in jail, so that's who's the blame here. And the head of the Employment Development Department here in California just simply resigned, no trouble whatsoever, and probably got her. I haven't followed her career, but I'm sure she got a nice revolving door job at some type of big firm. I would be willing to bet on it without even looking, but that's the way these things go. Here's a report out of Reason Magazine about the California high-speed rail. It's right down the road from me here. Sometimes I have jobs. I drive right by it on Highway 99 and Herndon Avenue exit. I've seen it many times, and it's all graffitied up as well. But let's take a listen to this report from Reason Magazine. How did California spend $15 billion over 16 years building a train to nowhere? I was rallying with concerned citizens out of the Tea Party 15 years ago at the freaking County Board of Supervisors, and we told them this is all a scam. You guys need to walk back out of this. They laughed in our face. And so here we are now, 15 years, 16 years later, they're still laughing in our face with literally a monument to corruption. Maybe I need to go out there and do a report like old Reason Magazine. Let's take a listen to their report about it.
You spend $15 billion over 16 years building a train to nowhere. Oh wait, there is no train. They haven't laid a single track. I'm standing where it should exist. It's not crazy to think connecting cities in a state like California would be useful. So in 1996, the legislature created the California High-Speed Rail Authority to develop inner-city rail using the state's pre-existing network. It could reduce traffic on I-5, the 405, the 101, but then California does what they do best. In 2008, Proposition 1A promised an 800-mile high-speed rail connecting San Francisco to San Diego. It would take 12 years, involve 2 phases, and the line from LA to San Francisco would cost only $33 billion. I can't believe they bought that!
$33.
More from the report, but I had to pause it there because they told us, right? If you learn to read between the lines, they freaking told us right there.
Consulting firms and unions contributed over $2.5 million to the campaign. Only 2 high-speed lines in the world operate at a profit, but Prop 1A promised no subsidies. They predicted 100 million riders by 2030, so voters passed it. Barely. The following year, the project got $3.5 billion from the Obama administration, and that should have helped. But again, California. Prop 1A allowed about $10 billion in funding and directed officials to seek private and other public funds to cover the rest. But the rail authority had no idea how to secure the bag. Meanwhile, consultants cashed in. One report found the average engineering consultant on the project earned $427,000 a year, while the state's own engineers earned $131,000. By 2014, it ballooned into a $68 billion project riddled by lawsuits, planning and construction errors, and waste.
Quickly, and then we'll get back to that report. I've talked to engineers that worked on it personally, and they just laugh and say everybody knows it's a giant scam.
Engineering changes through the Diablo Range cost between $5 and $14 billion. One contractor had to stop construction due to signs of distress and start all over again. And the cost to purchase the property for the train jumped from $332 million to $1.5 billion. So in 2019, Governor Gavin Newsom announced the project as planned wasn't gonna happen. Surprise, surprise! Instead, they would focus on the 171 miles between Bakersfield and Merced, two places not on anyone's bucket list. Because without it, California would be forced to return $3.5 billion in federal funding. The feds took one look at that plan and wanted their money back. They settled a 2-year legal battle in 2021, and the Biden administration restored the grant under the condition California must deliver one high-speed rail route by the end of 2033. Oh, and they also gave them another $3 billion in funding, which was needed because by now the train was set to cost $113 billion. So in June of 2025, the U.S. Department of Transportation issued a 300-page compliance review showing the rail authority has at least a $7 billion funding gap, no viable path to completion by 2033, and they grossly inflated ridership numbers. Things were so bad, the feds even launched an investigation into the now $135 billion project. After 16 years and $15 billion, not a single track has been laid. So the feds were like, yoink, and they revoked that $4 billion in funding. But because Gavin Newsom is peak Delulu, he called it another political stunt to punish California before filing another lawsuit against the Trump administration. So who's to blame?
And they did eminent domain on people's property. They didn't talk about that in the report. They basically did a demolition job through where the alleged train tracks are supposed to be, taking people's property, their residential homes, their businesses, and they didn't give a damn about it. And they used eminent domain to steal a bunch of people's property, and this is what we get out of it. But hey, at least they gave them till 2033 to complete the project.
It's good for jobs, right? There's people working, right? I mean, she's working. She was working butt off doing that report, trying her hardest to throw some free Masonic hand signals. I saw that.
It's creating some jobs, or gives us something to talk about here as well.
There you go.
So we had this big redistricting battle all over the country. Allegedly, Texas is redistrict. Well, that's where you are. Redistrict gerrymandered to get 5 more congressional districts for Republicans. And so to match that, California did the same thing over here. And it was challenged at the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will not hear the case. And so California's redistricting will stand. Prop 50. It's just clown world levels of corruption, but we love it. And so that is what America's about, is corruption. Washington Post fired 300 journalists today. Very sad there. And no word out of Bezos. He's with his, that weird looking girlfriend of his. So sadly, the Washington Post is laying off, and they cut their entire sports reporting department. No more sports reporters at all out of Washington Post.
All AI now?
I guess.
Just like his other venture, Amazon?
May very well be. Tesla and Waymo want to cut through the Senate's red tape. Waymo's ran over kittens and children. Waymo and Tesla are pushing Congress hard at a Senate committee hearing to finally pass long-stalled legislation that speeds up self-driving car deployment, especially robo-taxis without steering wheels or human drivers. Very exciting for the future here, Ruckus. And leaving a wake of dead children and kittens in their path. Yeah, who cares? It's the future.
I saw a sidewalk rolling bot delivery thing, like a robot on wheels, rolling on the sidewalk. They've learned how to now to avoid the homeless person sleeping in the middle of the sidewalk, so you don't, miss out on your delivery. Maybe they should teach that to the Waymo drivers to avoid all the people and the kittens.
There are no drivers; it's a robot.
Right, yeah, but the AI that's driving the Waymo needs to hook up with the AI that's driving the bot, because clearly the bot AI is better than the Waymo AI, see?
If they could dodge junkies on the street, you should be able to dodge children and kittens, right?
You'd think, right?
You'd think, or that's part of the program. How many can we, run over?
Oh, it's a feature, not a bug. I see.
It's starting to look that way. It's starting to look that way, and it's concerning why people in San Francisco are more concerned about the kitten than the child being run over by a Waymo. So that's also extremely concerning. We have more reporting. I don't know really much more what about it to say. The link of the bio lab there's a definite link between, it's the same owners of the Reedley bio lab that was reported, 2 years ago here now, and the Las Vegas bio lab that has just been uncovered. It's the same owners. I don't know. We got a lot more details. I don't know what much more we could say about it. Same owners. They look to be Chinese nationals. It looks like they're cooking up some type of chemical weapon attack in their garage there.
They're filming a cheap Chinese knockoff version of Breaking Bad, dude. Chill out.
Let's forgive them. But a lot of they got the guy. They were clearly doing up to nefarious deeds at the Reedley one, and somehow they were the quote authorities who care so much about everyone in our public health, as we know. They didn't do any follow-up and allowed this same owners of the properties and the businesses to continue to operate a biolab there in a Vegas residence.
So it's a foreigner on our soil in our country.
A Chinese national, yeah.
And a criminal. So I'm assuming that somewhere in this story it was ICE who busted them, right?
No.
Or were they too busy harassing white protesters?
There was I think they were here legally. I don't think they were illegal. They were doing a lot of illegal things.
Oh, there you go. Well, isn't that a little bit closer to their wheelhouse than some of the other shit they've been doing?
Maybe. You would think somebody would look at this a little bit harder, especially after the whole bat debacle. But everybody just looked the other way. And here are local governments. The city of Reedley, whose police station is directly behind the biolab, right? They look the other way. We don't know nothing. So city of Reedley doesn't know nothing. In the county of Fresno, which Reedley's in the county of Fresno, we don't know nothing. The sheriff says we don't know nothing. And everybody pointing their fingers. And then the city of Fresno, which also had connections to it because they moved for a short time, moved the operation next to the Fresno airport. We found out they're pointing at, we don't know nothing. And then the feds went in there and they're like, we don't know nothing. And so nobody knows nothing until 2 years later, they're still running biochemical labs out of residences, same crew.
Would it be too much of a crazy conspiracy theory to suggest that they did know this was going on? Just throwing it out there.
That's another. Is it gross incompetence or is it part of a conspiracy to launch domestic chemical weapons attacks against the American people? You know what I mean? How incompetent.
Or to set up the patsy for the next Disease X thing. Again, it's the same crap with Trump. It's like either one doesn't look good. You got to pick one. It's either we're completely incompetent or the Palantir and the police system is full total lockdown grid and you better not even think about committing a crime, Buster. Which is it?
I'm more conspiratorial about the whole thing in my mindset here, Ruckus, and I think it's all part of, like you say, a bigger agenda. And this is probably one little piece they had. Hey, it's time for another good public health scare. Let's roll out.
It feels like one of those stories that will pop up its ugly head in the future. Because remember, there were stories like this, during or just before the pandemic about like that weird stuff with the MIT guy, right? And there were these weird little seeding narratives that seemed like just weird offshoot stuff, but then it kept coming back to it. And so this one is now linked to that other biolabs. So I'm like, oh, they're drawing connections here. They're doing the thing. And I'm like, okay, we got to pay attention insofar as there's a good chance that, yes, this will be brought up again in the future to say, well, see, if you're, well, you want to know why everybody just whatever, fill in the blank just happened is because remember that story that we reported on 5 years ago? It'll be one of those types of things.
And it's good to demonize China as well. We can always throw it out there. Hey, we got to go to war with China. They're running bio labs here, running.
Gavin will be like, under a Trump administration, this gross incompetence took place.
So, yeah, I do believe that we'll probably see more of this. And how many of these makeshift bio labs in people's garages are there around the country? We know these two are linked. All the parties linked together there with Chinese nationals running around the place. It's crazy. So we'll keep a track on this. Maybe we'll do some more reporting on it if we can find the time. There's just so much we got to cover here. On to the immigration. Steve Bannon calls for immigration agents at polling sites during midterms. There's nothing, that's totally legitimate to have your Gestapo thugs at the polling stations. Here is Steve Bannon, best friends with Epstein. He was trying to revive Epstein's image. And so he's a great MAGA, America First, all that bullshit. He's in it neck deep.
You're damn right. We're going to have ICE surround the polls come November. We're not going to sit here and allow you to steal the country again. And you can whine and cry and throw your toys out of the pram all you want, but we will never again allow an election to be stolen. You're damn right.
Maybe I'm just a silly guy who doesn't understand how this works, but what does the immigration custom enforcement troops being there going to stop the election from being stolen? I don't get it.
Well, they're trying to say that illegals are stuffing the ballots, and that's why the Republicans are losing and that's why Democrats want all these illegals here, is because that's the only way they can win an election is with the illegal aliens voting and the SAVE Act.
Right, because I'm being sarcastic, obviously. So the illegal aliens will now decide, oh, shucks, gosh darn it, golly gee, they nipped that one in the bud. Now we're not going to show up in illegally stuffed ballots. Whatever will we do? Well, we're not going to worry about that. But in the meantime, what will the ICE officers be doing since they're there? I mean, how are they going to know which of the people who are showing up there might be an illegal citizen or not? I mean, I'm guessing if somebody showed up who looked like me and looked like you, might not be questioned, I'm guessing. But what if somebody, who with a different skin color?
What if we decide to vote Democrat? It's a shakedown then. It's a shakedown. A lot of white people vote Democrat allegedly, and so you're on the bad list.
This is not going to end well. I don't think this is a good idea, Mr. Bannon. And I'm guessing already that the Democrats are probably crying foul and would suggest that this leans into probably some sort of election interference. It's probably against the law to have armed Gestapo there while you're trying to vote. I mean, I would feel uncomfortable if I went to vote and there was an armed security detail there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's all for our own safety. I mean, they never fixed anything about the elections. We still got the electronic voting machines, and it goes on and on and on with all that nonsense. If you even believe that, it's just none of this is legitimate. And so that's why we need armed Gestapo at the freaking polling stations, you see. Hey, here's our meme of the day. Department of Homeland Security found time out of their busy day of tyranny to put this meme out. It's looking like a postage stamp. They tried to make it look like, but your daily reminder here. You can go home with a fresh start. All you illegal aliens receive a free flight home and a $2,600 exit bonus when you use the CBP home to self-deport app. Oh, God. Oh, my God. That's it.
A free Krispy Kreme donut, and you got yourself a deal, mister.
That's only if you miracle up.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But I thought that was a good meme because we're talking about the geopolitical global. We'll get to that. Okay. So we got 2 dead American citizens there, and Prete, the medical examiner, ruled it was a homicide, by the way. I don't know about the good shooting. Anyhow, White House says today, Operation Metro Surge, all this chaos that sucked up a lot of, political oxygen and news reporting out of the room for the last month. Turns out they got 4,000 plus criminal illegal aliens off of Minnesota streets. And so I guess it was all worth it, Ruckus.
Real quick about the homicide thing. When we come back, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to show that from the White House so we could document it. Go ahead about Prete's homicide.
Quick reminder. I mean, it's a common mistake. People make this mistake, but just don't forget what homicide is by definition. It just means that the cause of death was at the hands of another human being. So I don't need a medical examiner or an official report to tell me that Renee Good's death would also be ruled a homicide. These things are different from murder. And the headlines, when most people hear the word homicide, they associate it with murder, but not all homicides are murder. And murder has a lot more to do with intent and stuff like that. So they like to sensationalize these things. They say, see, the court said it was, the medical exam said, of course it was a homicide. We all know that already. That's not the point. We need like a jury and witnesses and testimony and all of that stuff to the court of law and the jury of your peers to determine motive and guilt, to determine if it was a murder, which, is a bigger, question here, or the fact that that it was an unnecessary death and it was like manslaughter. These people could still be charged, the officers, but not according to Stephen Miller, who, in case you don't know who Stephen Miller is, he's the husband of the lady who was interviewing Nicki Minaj. Because I'm just kidding. This is crazy, this world, man. Yeah, no, the crazy Nazi guy, the KKK racist dude, Stephen Miller. I mean, we stand with ICE. We love that guy. That's right.
That's in my,
don't ice me, bro.
Don't ice me, bro. I stand with ICE. I stand with Border Patrol. We're putting this all over all my vehicles. Changing my social media profile. Don't ice me, bro. And so, oh man, JD Vance asked about do you plan to apologize to the family of Alex Prete? And JD Vance said, for what? Which is probably right. I mean, what does he have to do with it? Honestly, he's very far disconnected. I guess he's advocating for their policies. But short of that, I don't see how me apologizing would make any sense. We need to hold criminals accountable, not blame people doing their job. I don't know. The good one to me looked like a straight up execution. Looked like that cop went there knowing he was going to shoot that lady in the face. This other one, I don't know, maybe they got scared. They did have encounters with him earlier in the week. And so I believe he was probably on, like they knew this guy, right, as an agitator. And so I don't know about that one. And then the gun. And so, cops are paranoid. And so that one's a little bit more sketchy to me than the good one where it looked like the cop walked up there straight up execution, right? Gun to your face and pull the trigger. What do you think about this? Should JD Vance apologize to the family of Alex Prete?
Yes. He, in case you forgot, he was quoted. I mean, whether it's his fault or not, I mean, it's his fault because he said it, but the media spun it and used his words and reminded everybody. So it's plastered all over the news that in these articles, it'll say JD Vance says that this person went to the crowds with the intent to commit a crime and to assassinate the officers, whatever. He was the one that said that, repeating a talking point because a couple of the other people said it outside of him, but his was the one that got quoted in all the news. So the family is simply asking him to apologize for what he said, and he's refusing to do that. And he's just deflecting and saying, well, that's not important now. And I'm like, holy crap, dude. I mean, seriously, you should probably do the manly, mature, grown up in the room thing, and say, well, shoot, sorry, we things were coming at us fast and furious. I was hot on the collar. Emotions were high. I made a mistake. I apologize, But and then he could still say his things. But this is a stark reminder why we shouldn't get involved. The death could have been avoided if he didn't go out that day. All the other things he could have said, and he could have still apologized to the family for defaming that person's name. And now the video you mentioned, the other one that mysteriously appeared after an extended period of time They waited long enough. They sat on that one, which I found very interesting. Is that proven? How can we know if that one was even real? That could have been generated by AI. You really, really never know, you know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know nowadays. So apparently, old Tom Holman was over there in Minneapolis. He says local authorities are now cooperating with the feds, and they're drawing down 700 feds out of Minnesota. So it looks like that whole situation is dying down. Minnesota sees unprecedented county cooperation with ICE. So it looks like you kill enough people, you will, get your way there. And it looks like that's what's happened in Minnesota. And still no one in the government held accountable for anything, for any of this.
Looks like they're going somewhere else then. The phase 2 is probably somewhere in Oregon, Portland, maybe, I guess.
Well, I didn't even report on it. I saw it over this last weekend that they as in left-wing agitators, attacked the federal building in LA. Like they spent all night like attacking it. So maybe back to LA, maybe they're constantly attacking the federal building in Portland too. So maybe one of those sites.
Maybe Albuquerque, my old stomping grounds. They've been having some issues and screaming about public safety and stuff. There's lots of demonstrations and protests happening there now too. So who knows?
But we're still not getting the mass deportations we were promised.
No, we get self-deportations and we get to pay them money. When most of these people, if we believe the story at face value, they were paid to come here in the first place. So they got paid to come here. Then they got paid to stay here, living off all the welfare programs. Remember the guy teaching them how to get all that money, right? Get your money, get your money, get your money. Bling, bling, bling. And now we're paying them to leave too. I mean, this is like the biggest, best thing. Like, they're like, we love America. They probably can't wait to come back again and do it all over, right?
You can become an international traveler and get paid all along the way, coming, going, and in between. And so
it's like the Monopoly board. You just keep passing go and collecting $200, and every once in a while you get thrown in jail, but that's okay. You roll the dice 3 times in a row, you get doubles, you're out, you're safe.
Real life Monopoly going on here with our immigration policy in America, it seems. Securest border ever. They continue to tell us historic 9th straight month of 0 releases at the border. Do we believe this?
You mean there were nobody's coming in, right?
0 releases at the border, they say.
So nobody's going out.
Neither way, nobody. It's locked down. It's fully militarized.
Cool.
Ice Barbie was at the border today with the Department of Homeland Security. She said that, well, I think we should play this clip because, again, this speaks to if her rhetoric is true, which we take them at their word, then why is no one held accountable? Let's hear Ice Barbie at the border today.
We thank President Trump for the guts and the love of this country to do the right thing, to make sure that when he talked to the American people, he talked about the fact that what we had going on here in this country under the Biden administration was the greatest humanitarian crisis that we had ever seen in our history, and that it needed to be fixed.
So if that's true, under the Biden administration, we saw the greatest humanitarian crisis in our country's history. Why is no one from the Biden administration held accountable for it?
Well, I mean, because technically Trump's first administration is the one more vastly responsible for the influx of immigration because of the country's foreign policy. But anyways, maybe that's a discussion for another day. Just ask Scott, just ask Scott Bessent and Jeffrey Epstein. I see a video of Jeffrey Epstein up here lately talking about how the strategy of tension and all that stuff works, and we make these people poor and then they come over here. There you go.
Wow. Okay, let's take our live commercial break and then we'll be back with a bunch of Epstein news if we can stomach it. All of it honestly makes me want to throw up. It makes me want to, I can't even say what it makes me really want to do on this show. but it makes me want to serve justice up for these people.
You want to invest in wood chippers, don't you?
Okay, everybody go to weaponizednews.com. We got the stickers, the holograph, the white background, and the clear sticker. Put it on your laptop, your bumper, your guitar, your work locker, and your hard hat are places they've been spotted out there in the wild. We appreciate all of your support. Go to weaponizednews.com. Check out our store. We appreciate the patronage to our store. We did sell a hat, I believe, the other day to Mac. Thank you, Mac, out there for the purchase. We have hats, coffee mugs, a bunch of gear over there, customized t-shirts at Weaponized News store, weaponizednews.com. The link is in the description below this video. We have Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, and Bitcoin wallet address. Always you can donate, contribute. I would like you to patron the store, but if you feel like contributing in other ways, then you can also subscribe. They have monthly, you can do a monthly subscription through Substack, through Buy Me a Coffee, and through Locals. I believe we're all hooked up on all those. So many different platforms, many different ways you can help support independent reporting and analysis. Brought to you here 5 days a week at Weaponized News. Go ahead and plug away there, Ruckus.
You know, Bitcoin used to be the best way to get donations until we found out Jeffrey Epstein created it. Anyways, in all those other options, from personal experience, Buy Me a Coffee is actually one of the best ones because they take out the least amount of money. So that's kind of cool. Anyways, I also have a Buy Me a Coffee, but I also got stuff that we do over at alternatecurrentradio.com, and you should head over there to see what it is. But that's where you find the Sunday Wire, Boiler Room, my appearances on Weaponized News and other programs under the moniker Roundabout Ruckus, our friends and colleagues who do the Mystical American Patriot Society, and of course Odd Man Out with his own podcast. We've got a bunch of new stuff going on at the website, so make sure you check it out. Once you're there, you can find my page, the Daily Ruckus page, and find out how to reach me, or just visit me on X at AC_wordslinger. Send me a message if you're interested in hiring the wordslinger. I could use the work, and then with some of that money, maybe I can buy myself a cool T-shirt from Sam. There we go. Or a sticker.
Right. Thank you for that message. Everybody go. You can see right there at the bottom of your screen at AC_wordslinger to get in touch with Ruckus through the X, and then you want to get in touch with me at Weaponized News on the X. There. Okay, on to the, it just keeps coming. More Epstein news here. Turns out all your fake conservative MAGA clownfluencers, the large majority of them are out there apologizing it all away as if nothing ever happened. Your Ben Shapiro's of the world, the rest of these clowns. But turns out a whole lot did happen. MTG, back to MTG. She's well, she says, let me read you this about her falling out with Trump. And then we'll get to the Epstein. She says, President Trump treats those who support him the most like crap. Oh, you don't say. He's a classic abuser. Thomas's wife, she's talking about Trump attacked Thomas Massey's wife. Thomas's wife voted for him 3 times. Big mistake, sorry for her on that front. She's not a radical left flamethrower. And Thomas Massey votes with the president 91% of the time, but won't vote to protect Epstein's sick pedophile rapist friends or send Americans' hard-earned tax dollars to aardvark land wars or any other foreign country. The president should be more concerned with voters who put him in office, like Massey's wife, not super rich donors and their favorite foreign countries and business demands. Losing elections to Democrats in super red districts like Texas Senate, where Trump endorsed, should be sending warning alarms across the president's desk. But instead, he's attacking Republican Thomas Massey with one of the most conservative voting records in the House, and his new wife with a 3-time MAGA voting record. And all the weak Republicans in the House stay silent, refusing to utter even a word of support for their friend Thomas Massey. Shame on all of you. Cowards, you make me sick.
And he has to keep going to work with those people and call them his friends and colleagues.
More from MTG says, hey, we knew this. It was reported a long time ago, but now confirmed. Epstein won the lottery. You didn't know? I mean, he's a pretty lucky guy. His trust, Zorro Trust, won $80 million in the New Mexico lottery. Here it is, right here. The email confirming as much, and MTG shared that post. There it is. So, yeah. Zorro Trust, belonging to Epstein, won $80 million lottery ticket in New Mexico. So, yeah, there is a giant conspiracy of the global dark cultist satanic cult. They're running all of this, and large majority of what you see is everything's rigged for them, for their benefit here now, Ruckus. Another example of
this is fantastic news. This might actually go somewhere, and I might actually benefit. See, I used to live in New Mexico, and while I was there, I've played New Mexico lottery games many times.
Why didn't you win the $80 million?
That's the question. It would appear to me that the game might be rigged, and it might open up the doors to a class action lawsuit. And I think I would be able to participate in that. That's great. You dirty bastards. That is so, not surprised, not the least bit surprised at all. Are you, Sam?
No, we know that's Freemasons. We know the insiders got everything rigged, and this isn't the only happening of bizarre payoffs through state lottery systems. It goes on and on and on. The more you look into it, we don't have time to cover it here today, but trust me, it's all linked up with secret societies, corruption, and so on, and some type of, it's like, I don't get it, because I get, well, he won the lottery. What are you, against gambling? Well, it's kind of bizarre how Zorro Ranch, already billionaires, win a $80 million lottery ticket. I mean, I know he's lucky, but you would think the karma of the universe with all his evil doings would not allow this to happen, but somehow it was allowed to happen. So,
well, maybe he was doing all those satanic rituals for a reason.
Maybe he's conjuring up lottery winnings. May very well be. Who is it? On the X, what the heck's the comedian guy's name with the Bears? What's his name? Benjamin.
Oh, Benjamin Owen.
Owen, yeah, that guy. He says that, and you listen to the interview, which I did much of it. He said, he's saying, and they say that in the interview, that Bannon and Epstein are wizards. You know what I mean? So maybe there's some alchemy going on here with all these type of rituals, and they say it even in that interview. I think Bannon calls them a financial wizard, something like this. And so they're literally acting like wizards here now.
Well, the Epstein file release, this one does coincide with the, I think you reported this, isn't this all, don't they do like a satanic reveal around this time of year?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think this was it. I really do.
Indeed they do. That's on our dark occultist satanic calendar, right hitting right at the same time, where they're carrying out mass ritual abuse. It's quite something to see here now. That's what the large majority miss, right? Is there's this whole dark underbelly world of secret society, dark occult, Satanism going on in the background that you need to understand to put this stuff in full context. It's not just purely political. It's way, way deeper than that.
And you know what? I'm guilty of doing this too. I'll remind the
viewers. I am too, because it's like so freaking crazy. You're like, but wait a minute. There's always this other thing going on. You know what I mean? You got to always remind yourself to put things in proper context.
We're experiencing this, but we have to realize that, believe it or not, when things like this happen, that a whole bunch of new people who are not really keen to this kind of stuff are witnessing it for the first time and starting to, you know, so it's like, man, that's rough. So let's not like be like, shoot, bro, I've been telling you about this for years. let's help them out and guide them along.
No, I understand. This stuff's freaking crazy, and you sound crazy even talking about it. I was listening last night to Fritz Springmeier lecture. Everybody should look up Fritz Springmeier, And by all accounts, he's legit because they put him in jail. They tried to kill him, all kind of stuff. When he went and he did deprogram trauma-based, fear-based mind control victims of the quote Illuminati. That's what he calls them. Whatever you want to call them, secret societies, all the same thing. This group of people, a cabal that are conspiring against the rest of the world, essentially here now, and have been in control since Jesus Christ. Anyway, I was listening to one of his lectures, and it's like so freaking crazy. And I listened to it like what 15, 20 years ago when it was first came out, and I was following this stuff. But now I re-listened to it. I'm like, don't sound so crazy anymore. Now we're just talking about how they traumatize the victims and break up the personality and create these different alters where I believe his book was How to Create a Undetectable Mind Controlled Slave, something like this. He has a few books out there. They're very expensive. Now I do have 13 Bloodlines of the Illuminati. I do have that book I bought back in the day for like $20 or whatever. It's like 150 or something now. Anyhow, it's the bloodline as well that we don't talk about enough. They are obsessed with the bloodline. Nobody's getting in that club that's not been in it, right? But they're creating. And he was talking about the scary thing is that they can trigger their mind control slaves to go out and do assassinations at any time. And so that's one of the cards that they have to play, and it's kind of scary. But he gave it the message of good hope that said that light will banish the darkness, and I do believe that, and that's why we all have to work together to keep exposing the madness of it all. And he also talked about that. He said, well, and I never really thought about this. He said, why were the Nazis doing all these crazy experiments, Dr. Mengele and others, at the concentration camps? Well, it was to figure out better mind control methods, right? Big part of it. And so that's why they were running all the concentration camp victims there in Europe to the Nazis through these mind control experiments to master mind control. They're continually refining it to a scientific method where they got it down. And it's scary. It sounds crazy, but I believe 100% that's exactly what's going on here, Ruckus.
No, I agree 100%. Yeah. I know I sound crazy, but
it sounds crazy. It does. Yeah. You listen to Fritz Springmeier, and he's talking about testimony directly from the victims. And you're like, this stuff's crazy, man. This guy's off his rocker. And then you go back and you're
they shoot themselves in the foot when they do this, as far as what they believe. I mean, because they do better when they keep this stuff secret. But now, when everything's out in the open like this, sure, they might be sacrificing some pawns, and this is politically motivated. I don't understand quite where we're at, but they do like to keep all this stuff hidden in secret. And the true people at top will remain unnamed, and we'll never really know who or what they truly are. But the more evidence that normal folks who are not believers see that Satan is real, that evil is real, that kind of opens up the doorway to like, well, shoot, doesn't that kind of mean that good is real and that God is real? So they kind of like, so again, the more evil shows itself, the better it is in reality, because then more people are their eyes are opened to it and repulsed by it, hopefully righteously so. And hopefully they run into the arms of Christ or some sort of belief system that's going to be better
morality.
Than whatever it is they're currently in.
They have some type of morality. And another thing, to your point there, that Fritz Springmeier said during his talk I was listening to last night, he said, this is proof that good exists in the world, or else evil would have taken over a long time ago, and everything would be destroyed already. But somehow, some way, we're still hanging on, even if it's by the skin of our teeth, and we're the little guys over here. I do believe it is proof that good is also, and much stronger in the universe, actually. That's why they have to do all the conspiracy against us, because it's so unnatural, so against the natural order of things, so against natural law.
And godly miracles are real. You need to prove that for yourself using your own research. But this is one of the reasons why I believe that they mock true godly miracles by suggesting that, the only reason Donald Trump is still with us is thanks to a miracle from God. Get out of here with that.
They're constantly mocking us, that's for sure. And mocking Jesus and God as well. That's kind of their thing. Okay, so I know Johnny Vedmore, who we've had on the show a few times, and you and I went on his show, on his game show, right? He's reported extensively on this, but now it's coming out. Nicole Junkerman, right? Message shows British biotech investor Nicole Junkerman asked Epstein whether he wanted to have a baby together. Will you have a baby with me? And are they talking about like literally him impregnating her, or are they talking about some other thing like eating a baby, or you know what I mean? Because you got to ask these questions, because these people are not like, you would think, oh, some woman is talking to her boyfriend and says, I want to have a baby with you. Okay, I understand that. You're trying to have a baby, start a family like this. But these weirdos, it can be taken any kind of way what they're actually talking about. But here's that email. And I'm sure Johnny Vedmore has way more on old Junkerman. But here it is. Will you have a baby with me? She asks Epstein. Right. And so, but again, is it to like literally give birth to a baby, or is it to eat a baby, or sacrifice one, or what are they talking about? And people have also uncovered in their records a lot of code words, as we have to use on here sometimes due to censorship, but they had a lot of code words in these emails as well that nobody really knows what they're talking about except for the insiders that know the code.
Yeah, so that being said, if it was something nefarious involving an actual baby, they'd probably use a code word. So, yeah, was she really saying, hey, Daddy Epstein, yeah, we can help put one in the oven, would you? I don't know. Or was the baby code word for something completely else? So you never know.
LinkedIn.
Maybe if they use the word pizza for code words for other things, when they actually want to have a pizza, they have to use a different word. So they're like, then maybe she's just asking if he wants to go get a pizza, and that the code word for pizza is baby. There you go.
Who knows? It's hard to tell in their sick, twisted world of espionage, blackmail, extortion, and murder and pedophilia. It's hard to know with these freaks. LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, he actually put out an X post, and he got dogged all over it, apologizing, saying I never went to the island and blah blah. It was just something. We were passing ships, like basically, right? And so I don't know nothing. But turns out he's all over Epstein. Reid Hoffman's a piece of shit, just like all the rest of them. Sorry to report to you here now. Appears in Epstein emails discussing gifts, frequent visits, and something for the island. Quote, something for the island. Again, the vagueness, the code words. We know a lot is going on, but these are our betters, they tell us. I couldn't even post a video. I got the first video I ever tried to post on LinkedIn, and I just gave it up. I said, LinkedIn, you guys have it your circle jerk of idiocy and censorship there. First video, and by the way, my pronouns on my LinkedIn profile are Clown World. For anybody that wants to look me up on LinkedIn. Anyhow, they censored my first. I did a video. I don't know, when I first got my LinkedIn, I was like, okay, here's a new. Let me try to see what this social media can do for me after being censored everywhere else. And so I put out a Bill Gates is gonna, depopulate everybody video. Boom, censored, gone. And turns out all that's true. I think we'll get to that. But yeah, F you, Reid Hoffman, and your piece of crap LinkedIn. Anyhow,
you should have put up a pizza video instead, Sam.
I'm sure they would have loved that. I don't speak pedophile-ese, though. Let's hear Mike Benz. Mike Benz here now. He challenges Epstein blackmail theory, says real value was access. And I believe it's probably part of this and a whole bunch of everything else in between as well.
I've never been convinced that the central role of the Epstein young girl, in my view, sidebar of the Epstein money laundering story is that it was for blackmail. And part of this is because the moment Jeffrey Epstein officially threatens somebody with blackmail, and that person tells his wife, and that wife tells her friends, and that gets out to somebody else that knows Jeffrey Epstein's access goes away overnight. That's the sort of thing that even a rumor of that spreading, and nobody else is going to want to do business with them.
So you think people just assume it's blackmail because that is how you would blackmail someone, especially underage girls?
I think it is very possible that there could have been indirect blackmail, meaning Epstein passes it on to an intelligence service, to a corporate espionage client or something, and they use that for their own purposes. But even then, I mean, imagine, for example, if, like on the Bill Gates thing, like there was Bill Gates gets an email, I have a video of you sleeping with this person, and, or somebody much lower level. The moment they send that to the press, if, in order to, they figure they have nothing to lose. I mean, there's not been anybody in the 7 years that's transpired who said,
I don't think it works like that either. I think it's a gang initiation, and they know damn well what they're taking full part in. And this is how you get into the quote Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, this satanic cult. What do you think there,
And I'm going to say something controversial, but that dude right there, Mike Benz, probably belongs to one of those cults. That guy is 100%, in my personal opinion, so you all do you, is controlled opposition. I think he's a COINTELPRO. That's a new term we're going around now. But yeah, I think he's softballing. He's trying to, diminutizing the blackmail stuff, which is very real and very useful to incriminating these people. That is the evidence that you need to prove that somebody, that's why they have it, right? That the law enforcement and the people need access to that as well. So this is the meat of the issue. Without this, there's nothing. It's all guards. Like, he sounds the exact same as the head guy up there saying, like, what do you mean? What do you mean we're going to prosecute people? There's no people to prosecute. If we had evidence that somebody committed a crime, believe you me, we would 100%. I promise we would. That's why I have to keep saying that over and over again. Like, what, you wouldn't? I mean, come on. Why do you have to keep saying that you would prosecute them if you had evidence? Like, who's saying that you wouldn't? Like, are you saying you wouldn't? It all seems a little fishy.
Well, they're saying they wouldn't through their actions. They're not indicting anyone.
So again, I think the blackmail is a big key part of this. And
we still have half the files out there, right? There's like 3 million, whatever, and all the snuff films, like the real dirt, the blackmail material. We haven't seen any of that. Right, we're just getting dirt out of emails and weird stuff here and there, and it looks real bad. But the real stuff, the actual snuff films of them raping and murdering babies and eating their fucking faces off, excuse me, gets me pissed off just thinking about this stuff. The government has all that. CIA, whatever, intelligence agency, NSA, name them. You know what? Whichever, pick and choose. The all-seeing eye in the sky has all of that. You better believe it.
And I think this idea of the possibility of people being blackmailed was like part of the discovery process when properties were seized and things were raided and, investigation. This wasn't just like a bunch of people just ran, I think this guy might be doing blackmail just at random. I'm pretty sure these are things that were learned after he was convicted of being a pedophile. I'm just sorry, don't quote me on this, but I bet I'm right.
It's making a whole lot of sense. Okay, on to our doctor during the bat time. He saved the world. Bill Gates here, he says, we need one world surveillance state. It's necessary to prevent the next bat. And so let's hear now from Bill Gates here. And we have more about his rebuttal to the claims that he's a scumbag Epsteinite.
What then is the next step to preventing something like that from happening again? Is it as simple as people spending more money, or is there some other focus that has to be the focus of the world?
Well, you have to do constant surveillance, including things like sewage surveillance or taking people who have respiratory infection and making sure you know what it is. And so if something new appears, even in Africa, you can contain it before it gets all over the entire globe. And so we understand far better how to do diagnosis. We know what to look for. The world hasn't come together yet to create that surveillance system. When it does break out, we need to come up with drugs and vaccines very quickly. We have some great technology for that. So that could have been worse. That is, the death rate from that pandemic, was about 1%, higher in the elder and much lower in the younger. The next pandemic that'll come sometime could be worse.
He's threatening us with a chemical weapon attack. Arrest his ass now.
This doesn't make any sense. When we were kids and we got sick, Sam, we got chicken soup and graham crack, the saltine crackers, maybe some ginger ale, stuff like that, right? Maybe some Robitussin or Vicks NyQuil, whatever come on. Now the answer when you get sick is this. This is how we solve people getting sick. This guy just literally said surveillance. That's how we stop the next pandemic. You got to, dude, what was I talking about earlier? They just rip the masks right off and just go out and tell you what they're doing. I don't care. Yes, we just want to spy on everybody.
It's a new world order. I believe it's part of a demoralization campaign. It is the apocalypse. The veil's lifting. And I believe there is a lot that we can do, but they want us to feel helpless, isolated, like we can't do nothing. I believe there's a whole lot. They got to him with the pie in 1988, just saying. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot we can do. And these people are way underestimating, I would say here now, what all of humanity can do against the 0.0000, against the Epsteiners, let's just call them here now.
Well, they have a plan for that too, Sam, unfortunately. So,
More from Bill Gates here, explaining. We played his wife yesterday, basically threw him under the bus. She don't want nothing to do with it. She had no part of it. Well, Melinda Gates, but Bill Gates, in response to Epstein file claims that he says they're false, just like Trump. So we should probably take these insane cartoon level global villains at their word, I'm sure. Let's hear more from Bill Gates trying to defend his depravity.
Every minute I spent with him, I regret and I apologize that I did that.
Part of that issue of trust.
Why did he apologize for that if he did nothing wrong?
Brings me to Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know what your relationship with him was.
Yeah, I met Jeffrey in 2011. So over a period of 3 years, I had a number of dinners with him. The focus was always, he knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to global health. In retrospect, that was a dead end, and I've said many times, but I'll say again, I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
You've no doubt seen the allegations, including some of them from the last 24 to 48 hours. Are they true?
No, apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. Was he trying to attack me in some way? But, it just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I apologize that I did that.
The problem is some of the things that he has sent and some of the information about other people that has come up in those files has been true. Why would he do this and say this about you, do you think?
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Is it frustrating to you, given what you've said, that this is now happening?
Not really. I mean, people should, hold people who are successful to a very high bar. And so, it's as these documents come out, they're going to be closely scrutinized.
So he doesn't have the sense to stay away from Epstein, Mr. International Super Spy, but we should trust him with global health under a one world surveillance system, Ruckus.
Why not? We've trusted him with so many other things that he's not qualified for. As a reminder, he's not an engineer. He actually never finished college. He's not a doctor, not an epidemiologist, not a virologist. He was unelected. He's a documented thief. He owns virus patents, owns vaccine companies, and he is currently disputing whether or not he did or did not visit Epstein's pedo island countless times.
But he apologized for it in advance.
Right. So he regrets every minute of it.
He didn't do anything wrong, but he still apologized. So square that circle.
And all I can say is I don't think I would sound the way he sounds if I was to get up there in front of a camera and express that I'm innocent. He's saying all these weird things. I'll be like, yo, I didn't do that. Yeah, you could ask this guy. You would say you do different things than what these people are doing.
And you'd be pissed off.
Most of them are just stepping down, by the way. They're just like, yeah, I'm just out of here, bro.
If these are real, true, false allegations, somebody accuses me of these hideous crimes, I'm going to be pissed if I'm innocent and screaming bloody murder that I'm falsely accused. But no, oh yeah, something happened, but I'm sorry. You know what I mean? No, dude, no. Here's a flashback of Trump, and it hits different now that the Epstein files have come out, where he's offering to buy children. Of course, it's all fun and games.
This car. Is this your car? Yes. Well, you know what? I'm buying it. I need it bad. I'm buying it. You're buying my car. Did you check? Thanks. Oh my God. Wow. Just let me get my kids out of the back. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have time for this. You see your kids? Yeah. I'm buying it.
I'm sure that was just a joke. It was all fun and games. But yeah, it does hit a little different now, doesn't it?
Here's Kash Patel. There is no Epstein. About 6 months ago, I believe this was July of last year. Let's hear this lying piece of trash, head of the FBI.
Our children. If you harm our children, you will be given no sanctuary. There is no place we will not come to hunt you down. There is no place we will not look for you. And there is no cage we will not put you in should you do harm to our children. The prioritization of this administration and General Bondi has made it abundantly clear to child predators. You will be hunted down and you will be prosecuted. And that is a refreshing thing to hear for the men and women who do.
So in other words, the safest place for a child predator to be in the United States of America is inside the Epstein files. Perfectly safe. You're good. Nobody's coming for you. There you go.
There's more from Mr. I can't look at you straight in the eye.
You told me when we last talked, this is 8 months ago when we did an interview at the FBI in Quantico, that you were convinced that Epstein killed himself in jail. Today, 8 months after that, are you still convinced?
Yes.
100%.
Yes, sir.
Did Epstein
I don't answer that fast, even when I'm telling the truth. He was like answering before he even finished. You know what I mean?
The hated Thomas Massey, who hates America, put out this poll on the X. He said, "Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself?" And the majority, 46%, say he is still alive. You can see right there, the 33 say he was executed, and 18 just show the results. 3%, according to this Massey poll on the X, believe he committed suicide. What do you think, Ruckus? Did Epstein kill himself? Is he still with us? There's reports that they did some kind of, because of media, they said they wheeled out a fake, they stuffed sheets and towels into a box to make that look like it was Epstein, to go out the front door of the jail, and took his body out the back door of the jail because they didn't want to mess with the media. That was in the Epstein files as well. What do you think? Is he really dead, or is he in witness protection program or something like this.
Ever since the incident happened, I immediately suspected that he was not dead, that this was a switcher, that he was under some sort of witness protection, that this was his boy, that this was their boy. They're not going to kill this guy. Didn't make any sense. It didn't fit the story. It didn't fit his history or his past. I didn't believe for a second. And then also the fact that people were so willing to suggest that people, had him murdered because their names are in there. They threw out the regular faces like the Clintons and the Bill Gates types. You know what I mean? Like, so it was too convenient. And it was like, and I thought that's what everybody believed. I honestly did. I thought, oh, this is the hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself. I imagine my horror and surprise when I realized that the vast majority of people passing that around, or at least were led to believe, they think the other thing that he was dead is just that somebody had him murdered. And I'm like, oh my God, this whole time I thought you guys were on the same page as me. So I'm happy to see that poll, because I think people are now on the same page as me. Yeah, for the longest time, I don't believe for a second that dude is dead. No, sir, Bob.
Epstein didn't kill himself. More from Jay Dyer here. He posted apparent MK Ultra sex kitten programming email sent to Epstein. It's very dark, but this is part of the trauma, fear-based mind control that they're using on people. AM in Paris and was about to write you, and it popped up. She is a classic stage 3 in the model outlier who is intelligent, was traumatized when she was young, sex abuse, and now gradually coming into her own and becoming self-realized, can share our text interactions with her permission, starting to develop special abilities. This trip, we found a lot of stories like this, though she is more on the extreme side, given her biological history, have been working with many such people with the model with good success. Incidentally, she is based in New York City, can set up a meeting if you have interest. In London, I met with a group that leverages iboga and spiritual traditions from Gambon to offer this alternate paradigms.
So the traumatized, abused kids grow up to be superheroes and hunted by Epstein to be recruited for some sort of secret project? This is a Netflix series or something, right? This is weird.
All this weird stuff, it's real. It's real. What, Eyes Wide Shut? More from Jay Dyer says, Eyes Wide Shut is proven real. Puts the famous Rothschild masked ball photos in a new light. All this stuff, right? The Trump buying kids, it's all funny. It was all cute and funny. Of course, these photos have been on the internet forever, right? Circulating the weird Epstein ball, or I'm sorry, Rothschild ball photos. All this weirdness. There's a bunch of other weird ones, but the email talking about, there you go. The Rothschild. Thanks for, and this one's about thrill hunting, the human hunting parties that have been rumored to be going on. I believe all that's real too. It's come out through lawsuits in Italy that the victims there in Sarajevo, I don't know if that was, it's probably all connected in the bigger thing, but a different operation. They were hunting civilians in Sarajevo. And so I believe this is part of that bigger elite human hunting program that's going on.
Their version is probably closer to the most dangerous game, though.
More from Dyer. He says, in this document, compliant academics, the enabling layer of billionaire predators, newly released Epstein, blah, blah. We know that. Let's get to the meat here. Was just reading today that newborns will suck on a pacifier more vigorously if it triggers playback of a recording of his mother's voice. than another woman's voice. Have you read David Brooks' Social Animal? Was #1 on New York Times bestseller list there. And so academia, the controllers of information that's distributed en masse, all of them, Harvard, MIT, Stephen Hawking, there's a bunch of these high profile academics, scientists, they're all implicated in this. Ruckus, what do you think?
I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Well, not that shocked.
Code words.
Yeah, the Ivy League schools, and they also have those secret society clubs associated with them, too. Weird.
Fraternities. More from Diary says proof Libya was a Jeffrey Epstein-related operation to loot the nation for billions with former Mossad, MI6, etc., Western intelligence. Remember Hillary Clinton laughed. We came, we saw, he died. It was so hilarious about the murder there and overthrow of Libya, of Muammar Gaddafi. Libya is a rich country. I'm not going to read this whole email, but it's there. We'll put the links up at Weaponized News Substack. But I believe it's probably it. Well, it is. It's all there. It's all there. What Dyer has been saying forever, and what many of us has been saying forever. It's all there now, proven in the emails. More documentation. Epstein was a Rothschild representative, and so yeah, he worked for Russia, though. Let me tell you, that's what the mainstream's trying to spin now. Oh, this is the same one, but he's talking about in here. I also have friends formerly with MI6 Mossad willing to help identify stolen assets and get them recovered. They mentioned, Rothschild in here as well. So, wow.
I guess they would have a real hard time trying to sell some sort of Iran thing associated with Epstein, right?
Maybe not. I hope we have time to get to that. There's on again, off again nuke talks with Iran as we're waiting to see, is Trump going to nuke Iran or whatever the hell they're going to do there, attack them at the very least. More from Diary says, remember I said, don't forget John of God cult in relation to Epstein. And it turns out it's all tied together. Here's that email. Spoke of this going on at Zorro Ranch. She has said on record that Epstein offered her money to do this, birth babies for black market use. Woman who accused John of God cult leader of rape mysteriously kills herself at Spanish home. All tied together here now. And then more from Dyer. He says, according to official Rothschild family biographer Morton, the famous Waterloo gaming, the stock market based on advanced intelligence is true. And so anybody looked into any of this, it's heard that story. The report from the private intelligence officer coming back from the Battle of Waterloo saying England lost when they actually won, caused the English stock market and economy to crash. And then Rothschilds went in there and bought it for pennies on the dollar. And it was all a lie because England actually won the Battle of Waterloo. But back in that day, everything was on horseback, early 1800s, right? And so it took longer for information to get around. And by the time the information of who really won the battle, England, it was too late. And Rothschild swooped in and bought everything for pennies on the pound there, Ruckus. And all of that's confirmed true.
Yeah, they didn't have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok back then, everybody.
They had guys riding on horses getting struck by lightning, right? That's that Freemason over here in America, some different deal, but that's
oddly
probably
enough,
true too.
They also did not have a population of brainwashed masses. So I'm sure there's no correlation whatsoever.
They didn't have the boob tube and the social medias and the phones and all this mass mind control programming going on there. We just had the church. And then on to...
And they didn't have critical minerals stored away in a vault. How did they ever survive?
It's a miracle. I guess that's a blessing from God. Here we go. Jeffrey Epstein donated critical funds to Catholic charities on the Virgin Islands.
That's it. They just threw all the Catholics under the bus. There you go.
I don't think they had anything to do with this. Your Joe Blow Catholic has nothing to do with any of this, right? But at the levels of control, they definitely are next.
Well, an organization like Catholic Charities USA probably has nothing to do with Catholics or charity or the USA. Just taking a wild guess
It
here.
does have something to do with the human trafficking, though. Mark Zuckerberg, who we know invented on this day, in 2004, invented Facebook in his college dorm room. Mark Zuckerberg passes user data to Mossad almost every year. Jeffrey Epstein boasted about wild dinner with Zuckerberg, Reid Hoffman, in unsealed email. And so, yeah. None of your guys.
I mean, it would have to be a wild party with these guys. I mean, they are the life of the party.
They're freak shows, man. Who knows what they're doing? But yeah, 2001 Facebook leak. It's all right there for everybody to see. But cover your innocent eyes. Do you even really want to know? Okay. 15 minutes left. We might have to go a little bit over. I understand if you have to leave us, Ruckus. How are you feeling, by the way?
I'm good.
Okay, you're good?
The news isn't making me feel better, but I'm good.
I knew it would uplift you. So Simon made an appearance today on George Galloway's show, representing Weaponized News, and he did a dive about this Mendelsohn over there in the UK who's had the shame to resign. No one in U.S., but let's hear Simon's report on George Galloway's show earlier today.
Live breaking news, live to Florida, where Simon from Weaponized News has news on the Epstein files. On you go, Simon.
Greetings to you, Mr. Galloway, and to your worldwide audience. Well, I'm trying to live up to my nickname online as Prince of the Obscure, and I would like to draw your audience's attention to the fact that the I in the name ISC does not stand for independent. This body that the Mandelson/Epstein files is now going to have the material referred to is in fact the Intelligence and Security Committee. And its governing rules are largely set up by the Justice and Security Act of 2013. And in that, if one were to refer to Part 1, Section 3, Subsection 4, as I'm sure all of the audience are already quite familiar with, it actually says the Intelligence and Security Committee must exclude any matter from any report to Parliament if the Prime Minister, after consultation with the ISC, considers that the matter would be prejudicial to the continued discharge of the functions of the Security Service and the Secret Intelligence Service and the Government Communications Headquarters, or any person carrying out activities falling within Section 2.2. So basically, the situation is that it's been referred to a room, the 9 members of which are all subject to the Official Secrets Act, and they cannot make any disclosure about any material, however it's received by them, that relates in any way to activities of the intelligence and security services of Her Majesty's Government of the United Kingdom. And therefore, not only does this organisation have a reputation for putting out very tardy reports dealing with matters in much like the International Court of Justice does with a 10-year delay, it's unlikely that we would ever see any of this material, notwithstanding the request from the Metropolitan Police Service that's now being treated as a binding legal obligation upon the Cabinet Secretary, which it absolutely is not. But this rather obscure parliamentary maneuver called a manuscript amendment that was negotiated by the Tory party and the Labour Party, huddling behind the chair of the Speaker of the House of Commons, is completely a red herring. This committee is not authorised to declassify the information it receives, nor is it authorised to release any of the material, and they actually face criminal sanctions under the Official Secrets Act were they to do so, even in the form of an unauthorised leak. So this is not the panacea that your previous guest thought may be the case, and whilst we have seen somewhat of a disturbance among the ruling party in the House of Commons today, given the revelations that have been made, it's not going to result in what most of the mainstream media think is going to happen. And in fact, the most important question, as we all sit fearful of the negotiations due on Friday being cancelled between the Iranian government and the American government, that may see another ultimate distraction from this, is what was Peter Mandelson's connection with the lobbying firm in which he held a very large stake called Global Counsel, who was actually acting as an intermediary between Palantir, the technology company that now has 24 NHS contracts and many MOD contracts. And was it in fact not despite his connection, Peter Mandelson's connection with Jeffrey Epstein, that he was appointed, but was it actually, one might consider, because of his connection with Jeffrey Epstein and the two-way flow of information that was occurring, that would give him a whip hand in dealings with the Trump administration, because of the potential information about Donald Trump that Jeffrey Epstein could give to Peter Mandelson, or indeed had in the past given to Peter Mandelson before his untimely disappearance. So that's another aspect.
Disappearance is a good way. A disappearance is a good way of putting it, Simon. Let me just press you on one or 2 points, and I think you've done a signal service to the audience this evening by making the point that the ISG is the Intelligence and Security Committee, ISC, not anything remotely independent about them. They are stooges of the secret state, and the ball has been put into their court as a result of a cooked up deal within the Uni party between Labour and the Conservatives, literally handwritten, a manuscript amendment. You know, the rulers are in trouble when they're forced to write in freehand a manuscript amendment, but they successfully averted a vote this evening by this manuscript amendment, and now the matter is in the long grass. We will not, of course, ever know, not for 60 or 70 years, the full details of this. That's why we have to stop playing parliamentary games. That's why, Simon, we have to stop playing uni-party games in the UK and in the United States. They're all in it together. It's one big club, and the mass of the people, both sides of the Atlantic, are not in it. Am I right?
I would entirely agree with your summary there, Mr. Galloway. And I do think that it's going to be a very convenient delaying tactic that the Met has requested that these documents not be released, even if it were possible that the Intelligence and Security were to decide to do so. And it's also very interesting that it's now reported by the Telegraph that President Trump is going to have a conversation with Prime Minister Keir Starmer of Britain tonight, supposedly to give his final go-ahead to the Chagos deal. So it seems unlikely that these rumours that Keir Starmer is going to resign tonight would seem very, very unlikely until that transaction has been completed. But unfortunately, this is only the tip of a very, very large iceberg. And it should be recalled that only half of the Epstein documents have so far been released in the United States. So whatever kerfuffle these disclosures may have caused in the United Kingdom Parliament today, it's, as they literally would say on the old British sitcoms, only the half of it.
Brilliantly put. Simon in Florida from Weaponized News. Much obliged to you. Now,
and here's the document Simon wanted me to show you, so you can see he's reading. Simon's doing the deep research. He said, show him this section 1, and I already clicked through subsection and then 4 right here, right? Show him. So here's the document, exactly what he's talking about there. He said, show him the document, show him I'm not making this stuff up. And then he said, read this one, the last half here. This goes back to put this in further context. He says to read this paragraph to you guys. This is via Simon again. It says, Chairman of the Intelligence and Security Committee of Parliament, ISC, it's intelligence, not international, as he made that point, has today made the following statement. You can see there dated December 16, 2025. On Friday last week, it was announced that there would be significant reforms to defense intelligence functions, including the launch of a single organization for all defense intelligence units and organizations. Not only was the ISC not properly informed in advance of this announcement, but there has been no prior consultation or any information of substance provided to the committee on what the MOD itself has described as a major overhaul of defense intelligence organizations under the leadership of Chief of Defense Intelligence. The Justice and Security Act of 2013 and the ISC's Memorandum of Understanding clearly place the intelligence activities under by the Chief of Defense Intelligence, including intelligence collection, analysis, and training, under the remit of the Intelligence and Security Committee. The lack of consultation and notification on this matter is therefore completely unacceptable. I wrote to the Secretary of State for Defense on Friday to convey my deep disappointment with the manner in which this was relayed to the committee. The committee has only now this morning received an apology from the Secretary of Defense, as the remarks mark a significant reshaping of the way in which intelligence activities are structured within defense. The committee will be requiring the Secretary of State for Defense to appear before it briefly and brief us fully. The committee will then take a view. And so via Simon, he wanted me to share all of that out of the UK for you. And so thank you very much, Simon and Galloway.
I like the way he socially engineers the audience, Galloway's audience. So that document which he asked you to read for us for our benefit, he injected that line. He says that which your audience no doubt is already familiar with. He was backwards assuming that everybody watching the program had already read that when none of them have. So now that they're like, well, what was this thing? They're going to go look it up for themselves. Very clever, Simon. Very clever.
Stallmer, I guess he's not going to resign. Stallmer's not going to resign over this. I seriously doubt it. Okay, out of Spain now, I was on the phone with Simon. I believe his phone is better, but the internet connection is the problem. He said maybe we can get him on in about another 2 months. So we'll see then how he's feeling. Anyhow, in the conversation I had with him earlier today, he said, take a look at Spain essentially giving amnesty to 500,000 plus illegal aliens there in Spain. He said, not only does this give them citizenship in Spain, and the number's way bigger than the estimated 500,000, 500,000. He said, this is going to give them full rights within the EU. And a lot of that is being left out. And so that's what Spain's doing. And more illegal aliens are looking to invade Europe because they're thinking we're just going to get amnesty and a free ride. And hey, maybe they'll pay us $2,600 to go back home like America is. You know what I mean? So incentives every which way you can imagine, coming, going, staying, getting on the welfare state, have 50 kids, get all them on welfare, so on and so on. As the welfare state goes, so goes the nation here now of illegal immigration. And so it's a giant disaster what Spain is attempting to pull off here now, which looks like they're going to do. The amnesty for 500,000, I'd say it's a lot more than that. But and then you can go ahead and live off of the EU welfare state there, Ruckus.
Well, this sounds like really good news for people who self-deport themselves to Spain, but they're not really from Spain. They'll be like, oh, shoot, we made a huge mistake. But hey, since we're here, we'll take that membership seat. Thank you very much.
There needs to be some kind of travel agency for living off of the welfare state around the world, right? Hey, we'll think, you know, the American racket. We're going to pay you to go in there, live on their welfare for a few years, and then you get deported. Head over to EU, head over to Spain. You got amnesty there, and you can get a jump on their welfare state. And it's all going to be well and good. And pick up $2,600 on the way out.
We should just make an AI agent to do that for people.
Quite a racket. Quite a racket these jokers have. Here's what, onto the World Governments Summit. There is no one world government conspiracy. They have meetings about it, summits. We just got done with Davos. Now they're having it's literally called World Government Summit. I think they put the S on like last year, I believe, because it was just called World Government Summit. And they're like, they're meeting right there. All the conspirators, all the bad people that we've been telling you about right there. They have a big meeting. It's public. Tucker Carlson's interviewing people at it. It's now World Government Summit. Here is the head of Spain there, Pedro Sanchez, talking about digital governance is a test of state capability. Let's hear this. They're rolling out, and so we'll get to this after this.
A problem that no country can face alone, and is digital governance. Social media has become a failed state, a place where laws are ignored and crime is endured. What we are facing is the convergence of two failures: a digital space without responsibility weakening us from within, and a global order under strain from the outside. Both demand governance, not resignation. That is why we must act with courage, with unity, and with hope. So let's rise to the task. Let's choose governance over resignation, cooperation over fragmentation, responsibility over silence.
They'll need to resign. They're all statist, government-loving bootlickers, and they all need to resign in shame, actually, for all the crimes against humanity they've committed.
Sam, he's simply asking for governance for the global order. This has nothing to do with one world government or the New World Order. Don't get confused, bro.
The old order is fading, right? This is right from World Government Summit. This is your new world order in a new era, as we've been reporting here for over 2 years now. The old order is fading, setting the stage for a defining moment for the global south, Amid rapid global transformation, what principles will guide future governments? Let's watch this short propaganda piece from your World Governments Summit.
To the global south countries to have more space, voice, voting in this organization, it's essential to reform these organizations.
You are going to see a compelling economic growth that is again going to implicate the world. It is going to decide the future of sustainability. It is going to decide the future of climate action. It is going to decide key questions on political stability, on food security, and of course on 1/6 of humanity.
There's more. There's more. This guy, who even is this guy's like 11 names. Prime Minister of Kuwait. I'm not even going to attempt. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names. I'm not even going to attempt to say all these names. Anyway, this dude, Prime Minister of Kuwait, he says the smart government provides the service to the citizen before he even requests it. Kind of like Bill Gates' global surveillance state. We didn't even know you were sick, but that all-seeing eye was up your rear end, and we know you're sick, so we're here to save you. And so he's saying, the Prime Minister of Kuwait, the government's going to be so smart, they're going to provide you services before you even knew that you needed them. Ruckus, yay, government. That's what these bastards are saying at this thing.
To do something like that, they would need something from one of those fantasy novels like Lord of the Rings, the Palantir. Oh, wait a minute. All right. Oh, never mind.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Who is this? This was a Waymo driver. They love running over kittens and little children. Waymo CEO was over there, and she said, we need, right, saying it definitively, authoritatively, we need cities and countries to recognize the value of autonomous vehicles, because I think a lot of legislation around the world imagine that there would be a human driver. Getting rid of the humans, because when there's no human driver, no one's held accountable for running over kittens and children, you see.
Well, you know, the humans are still there, Sam. It's just that luckily the robots know how to avoid them. So everything is just fine. We're fine. Everything's fine, everybody. See, I told you that happened. You didn't believe me, did you?
Watch this clip from this guy's on the social media track like he's like a populist, maybe. He's a kabillionaire Facebook dude. I can't even pronounce his name, but you've probably seen this guy around. He's very active on the media. Anyhow, he says, well, we'll play the clip. He says, where AI is heading. I believe this guy's, he's a kabillionaire from Facebook. Anyway, you probably recognize this guy.
I think what it means is that every country, probably in the next 3 to 5 years, will be forced to make a very important decision, which is around the sovereignty of their own productivity and GDP. Because to the extent that these AI, and in that realm, the open source models provide the clearest path into what's happening underneath the hood.
I think governments have to think about what is the application where the use of AI will be productive and useful. It's like building up a military industry. It's not for...
Oh, yeah, that was Chamath Palihapitiya. I definitely know who that guy is.
Good pronunciation.
Sri Lanka. Yeah, no, I had to practice these things when I was doing news reports on TNT.
See, you know that dude. He's all over the place. But this other Asian gentleman, they didn't say who he was, but he says, yeah, it's like building up military industry. So they're weaponizing, they're militarizing and weaponizing AI, and they're telling you right here, right now, I'm telling you, that's what they're saying. But hey, take a brain chip, maybe that'll take the edge off. They rolled out a poor crippled dude, and Nolan Arburl is the first recipient of the Neuralink, and they rolled this poor soul out there. So this guy's a brain chip. People come first. We need to make sure that what we're doing is improving the lives of people with disabilities. Very noble and virtuous sounding, but we know they have the devil in their heart. We're helping them first, and then an enhancement can come.
Oh God, I don't think we've seen the last of this guy. They're going to use him for all the things. So they'll be like, oh, we have a new upgrade that we'd like. Maybe you might be interested in this since we've done so well with you, sir. Would you like to be 20 times smarter than you are? Smarter than the average human, as it were. Something weird. Something weird.
Nolan Arbol, I guess how you pronounce it. Nolan Arbol. First recipient of Neuralink. This guy has a brain chip right here, and still, as you can see, all paralyzed up. And I wish him well, and I hope he has a good life. But they're using this as an excuse to roll it out. And hey, through science, memory, and discovery, this is Jurassic Park stuff here now. They're rolling out. Take a look at this propaganda video from your World Governments Summit, i.e., Jurassic Park.
Is extinction really the end? Not when genomes remain. We study to protect. The past matters for the future. The future needs memory.
They're also altruistic and virtuous, Ruckus. It makes me want to throw up.
And their answer to everything is the same. More technology, more data centers, more critical minerals.
More Jurassic Park. Science is moving from experiment to capability. As tools evolve, so do the choices facing governments. Rewriting life. Playing God? I don't know. They think they're God. They're not.
You know, it's forecasted that we could lose up to 50% of all biodiversity between now and 2050. We could bring back extinct species, rewild them into the ecosystem. Biotechnology companies and the US government, they're all looking at this, right? Because like, where do we draw the line? Where do we help, right? We are moving to a world, when you look at access to compute, AI, synthetic biology, and all of these tools, where we're going to move from scientific experiments to engineering.
Stop helping us. Stop messing with bats and all the rest of these animals. Stop it. Stop helping us. We don't want your help. Damn, man. These maniacs won't stop, Ruckus.
It really wasn't that long ago. Just to be fair, I'll say, we'll go back 5 years. So 5 years ago, it was unheard of. It was debated openly, hotly, all over the place, all around the world. The morals and ethics of doing a lot of these things that they have just warp speeded into existence, and with zero input from the people. I mean, at the end of the day, this affects us, all of us on this planet, and not a single one of us have been consulted, involved in these choices whatsoever. You know, from the miracle juice technology to the surveillance technology to this crap, you know, like, hey, let's just bring back the extinct species. Let's go ahead and play God. Well, wait a minute. Like, there was a lot of argument about, hey, should we play God? And outside of the moral issue, there were a lot of scientific reasoning for why you probably wouldn't want to bring back an extinct species. Maybe it went extinct for a reason. You know what I mean? And maybe the reason wasn't because necessarily we killed all of them off, although we are guilty of doing that for a fair amount of species. But there are some animals that are gone for a reason, you know? I mean, what's the, are they like, I can't, the hubris of it all. I mean, if you're a Bible believer and you believe in the end times and the prophecies and all this stuff, one of the ones that's bandied about is that the disciples asked Jesus while he was still here on this planet with us, what will be one of the signs of your coming when he comes again? Things that, like, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be again when the coming of the Son of Man. And I'm misquoting that, I'm sure. But the idea is that, like, some people just throwing it out there, there's this conspiracy theory that means, yes, granted, pre-flood, Noah's generation was eating and drinking and doing all that they wanted to do, and their thoughts were evil continuously. But there's other stuff that was happening, apparently, allegedly, we'll just put it this way. There might have been fallen angels messing around with nature and, you know, engineering and playing God and doing things that we probably should not have been doing, such that all living things on the earth were corrupted, is what the Bible says. So much so that God had to wipe everything out. And yet here we are, ready to do the exact same thing. Luckily, God promised that he wouldn't wipe everything out with water again. Instead, it's going to be fire. But hey, y'all deal with that how you need to.
Rewriting life through imagination. I guess Ruckus is against imagination.
Maybe it's just it's a plot, this third temple thing, dude. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I hear you. They're messing with Mother Nature, trying to play God, and I believe we deserve
the
to get
morality
wiped out.
discussion doesn't exist anymore. I guess is my point. Is
well,
they don't care.
Ethics
There's
is a
no
conspiracy
arguing.
theory.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
wild, man.
Yeah,
it happens like that overnight. You know.
We deserve to be wiped out here now, I believe. Maybe I'll be praying for the Armageddon like the evangelical Christian Zionists, but for a different reason, because I don't believe that we don't have anything good coming for this blasphemy against creation that these bastards are rolling out with no consent whatsoever. Oh, informed consent, that's another conspiracy theory.
And while I'm preaching, I'll throw one more at you real quick, because there's a lot of argument about, all right, well, I'm guilty of this too, and so are you, Sam. We both do this. Like, when are we going to see justice? When are they going to go to jail? It probably won't ever happen. And even if it does, that's not real justice. We still have to wait until the second coming for actual justice, and justice is coming. Our God is a just God, and if I were these satanic people, I'd be very concerned about that if I were them. Just saying.
They think some kind of way they're gonna, call on the universe. They're gonna call on natural law. That's what all their games are about, right? How to pass that karma on to somebody else. I didn't pull the trigger. I just gave the order. It wasn't me. You know what I mean? And so, the meteor can't come fast enough for me here now.
As long as it's before the aliens.
Well, they're telling us, as we reported 2 years ago, this is the geopolitical reset right there. The geopolitical reset. The World Government Summit tells us here now, the CEO of the Atlantic Council. And I need to look at this whole session. I haven't had time, but I am going to go back and look at this. A whole session titled The Geopolitical Reset at the World Governments Summit there. This maniac, what is it? Aura CEO says the most powerful thing that Aura, I don't even know what it is, some tech company, I think, is doing is trying to modify behaviors, i.e. mind control, by telling you things that you don't know, like that you are getting sick. So you didn't even know, but you're sick. Or your stress levels are high. Things that you may not experience yourself through your mind or your body. We're trying to give you a sixth sense. And see, they're helping us here now, Ruckus.
What could possibly go wrong?
That's what this maniac's saying. They're going to give you the sixth sense, and I'm sure it's some type of transhumanist body modification, implant the chip, and you'll have a sixth sense, they promise. All blasphemy against creation, might I add. AI is really accelerating many of the areas, including drug discoveries. Don't do drugs, kids. They're going to push a bunch of new drugs on the market with AI. AI drug discovery reached $2.5 billion in pipeline drugs, and we have never seen that before in traditional drug discovery. Loomis Ventures founder James Mee said at the World Government Summit here now. Don't do any of their drugs, kids. They're going to promise it's the greatest, latest, whatever. It's going to give you six senses or whatever BS. Don't do their drugs, kids. Just putting that out there. Don't do drugs, kids. Okay. That's the world. You may like this out of actor, war man, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. He says the true 1% of America, and he's talking to cannon fodder, actual U.S. service members. Let's watch this. And they're not the true 1%. But this is the rhetoric coming out of the Department of War, brainwashing our troops to go die in illegal foreign wars of aggression for the actual 1%.
We are in the 250th year of our great republic because men and women stood up to defend it. That's the long line that you're a part of. That's the lineage that you're a part of. Freedom has to be defended. It's never passed automatically from one generation to another. Someone stands up and defends it. You've done the first big step, which is raise your right hand to say that I'm willing. That already puts you amongst the 1% of our country. So help me God. Congratulations.
Brainwashing the youth there.
Hoorah.
War's a racket, Smedley Butler. I bet none of those service members have read or even heard of the book, but everybody should go take a look at that. And exposes all this militarism for what it is, racketeering.
But I bet you they have high-ranking scores and trophies on Call of Duty.
I bet they do. I bet they do. President Trump had a phone call with Xi today. He said the relationship with China and my personal relationship with President Xi is an extremely good one. And we both realize how important it is to keep it that way. On the back of Xi talking about making the yuan a global reserve currency. And it looks like China's making that move, and they may back it up with gold or some type of have some type of backing behind the currency instead of America's just total fiat. We'll shoot you in the face and sanction you and put tariffs on you, or just shoot you in the face if you don't take our dollars. And so I think China, if they roll out a sound money currency backed by something other than threats of violence and violence, straight up violence, then I think that will probably overtake the dollar. And I believe that's all part of the bigger transition here now to shift power to the East. And Trump's part of all that as well. All the time, America first, America. They're doing everything they can to make this happen right now through Trump White House policies, Ruckus.
Well, I hate to say it, but Hegseth and Trump might be right on this one because they're projecting this whole powerful warlike stance, right? Peace through strength. And a lot of it could just be like, it could be paper tiger stuff. It could be us just like beating our chest and pretending, but people want money that's actually backed by something, not the threat of force. But the thing is that historically speaking, the most successful form of currency has always been force. And so maybe the United States is taking the right approach if they want to stay relevant. And, we have nothing to back the dollar. So, backup mic time,
And they're doing, and we don't even have debt anymore. We don't even have institutional buyers of the debt anymore. It's a circle jerk between the Federal Reserve and the Treasury here now. We're literally buying our own debt, i.e. quantitative easing, but like almost totally here now. And so it's
And
the whole.
they're trying to sneak in the stable coins to act as the middleman now to buy up all the bonds and everything, right? Keep it going. But I don't think that's going to work.
It's a disaster. And Trump's leading the charge. MAGA, you understand? You've been sold a bill of goods. Trump's a Trojan horse, and he's ushering in the new world order right in everybody's face, selling out America as hard and fast as he possibly can. Oh, but these, wrap yourself in the flag and join up with the military and go die. How about that idea? Show your patriotism that way. There you go. On that note, Ruckus, on again, off again. Earlier today, it said that the Iran talks between America and Iran, nuclear talks, were not going to happen on Friday, according to reports out of I-24 France and Axios here in America. They said it's not going to happen. And then we see later in the day, reports say it's on again. So hopefully it is on again, and we could negotiate some type of deal. And Russia has said they will take, Russia says, offer to remove Iran's enriched uranium remains available. Russia's saying they'll take the nuclear waste. So they're trying to middle it a little bit, saying it, because they know if full-on regional war kicks off, it very well may lead to full-on world war, hot world war here now. So they're over there. Come on, guys. Do we really have to do this? You know what I mean? And so we wait for Friday. Maybe something happens in between then and now. We got to take this with a grain of salt because it's a Democrat, right? And we're so just polluted by the partisan politics here in America. Here's U.S. Senator Chris Murphy on the Senate floor yesterday calling for accountability after reports that a firm controlled by the UAE National Security Advisor secretly bought a 49% stake in Trump family's crypto venture. Let's watch this. And yeah, good luck. Good luck there, Chris Murphy. You're a piece of garbage just like Trump, but they do attack each other well for the political theater.
This was a case in which they knew it was so egregious, it was so wrong that they did it in private. What we are talking about here is stunning. A secret payment of at least $187 million to Trump's family, a payment of at least $31 million to the family of Trump's top Middle East advisor, and then soon after a gift of national security secrets to the UAE that up until those two secret payments, every American president had refused to give. That is corruption. Those are the elements of a bribe. This is potentially criminal conduct. The rule of law may be suspended today. Republicans may not be willing to do anything about this corruption simply because the president is of your party. For now, Trump and his friends may get away with these crimes and with this corruption. But the rule of law is coming back. And when it does, everyone who has greased their palms off government service, trading government favors for cash, and violating the laws of this nation are going to jail.
Sure, buddy. That's so some blue anon hopium he put out there for the left-wingers, Ruckus.
When the last guy was in office, the Trump people and Trump was screaming about corruption and that he's the law and order president. And now under Trump, they're screaming about corruption and that they're going to be the order of law. So they have a different word for it. So we've got the law and order, and they're the order of law. So yeah, wrap your heads around this one. But they're both corrupt. It doesn't matter who's like, what the hell? This is crazy. It's nuts. But Trump does take the cake. I mean, seriously. I mean, you take your lenses off, take your MAGA hat off. If you look at it and look at the things, it's like, holy crap, this guy's insane. How is he getting away with half of this stuff? I have no idea. It's wild.
Because half the country snowed over with their stupid red hats on still.
Patrick Henningsen, he's probably the only person I've ever heard say this, and he says it repeatedly, that Donald Trump will go down in history as the most corrupt president in history. And I think he's right at this rate. It really looks that way. It's crazy.
And that's pretty hard. I would say the biggest competition he has is Woodrow Wilson. And as far as selling out the country to foreign interests, Woodrow Wilson's right up there because it's kind of hard to beat the Federal Reserve and World War I and the establishment of the individual income tax. That's kind of hard to beat, you know what I mean? But hey, Trump still got, what, 3 years? So yeah, may very well happen. Okay, so cocaine now. Cocaine. Colombian President Petro was at the White House. Here's what he had to say after that meeting with Trump yesterday. He said, the first line of drug trafficking does not live in Colombia. It lives in Dubai, Madrid, and Miami. They are the bosses of the bosses. I gave Trump their names. Let's hear this now. So he's ratted out the cartels, he said, to Trump. And Trump's like, yeah, I kind of knew that. They're in the other room right here. But let's hear about the ratting out of the cocaine cartels.
Línea del narcotráfico no es la que te...
Oh, sorry, it's in Spanish. Let me take off so we can read the subtitles here. There we go.
Línea del narcotráfico no es la que te imaginas. La primera línea del narcotráfico vive en Dubái, en Madrid, en Miami. Lo conocen las agencias de los Estados Unidos. Le pasé sus nombres al presidente Trump, sus lazos más allá de sí mismos. Son los capos de capos. Sus capitales están fuera de Colombia. Y hay que perseguirlos conjuntamente a través de una articulación de inteligencias de muchos sectores del mundo y está propuesto y se está haciendo. Línea del narcotráfico.
He's like, don't whack me like you did. Don't kidnap me, bro. Don't ice me, bro.
Yeah, can we get that guy a welfare check stat?
Oh man, a lot. We're almost done here, Ruckus. Thank you for hanging with me. 2.5 hours here now. We had a lot of friggin' news to cover today. The genocide continues. The biggest body count we've seen in a couple months, I do believe. 25 Palestinians in Gaza killed in the last 24 hours. Now, as we're in phase 1, 2 of the ceasefire, no, they're stacking bodies. 25 dead.
Thank goodness there's a strong chance it was not any of them were probably not children or women. They were probably all bad people.
They're all
probably
Hamas.
Yeah.
They're all Hamas. Yeah, we didn't get a breakdown of children, but yeah, there's probably well, they're all Hamas terrorists, as we know. And 38 also injured as well there with heavy strikes on the Gaza Strip. So yeah, the genocide continues there. Aardvark Land charges 12 suspects, including a reservist, over alleged Gaza smuggling ring. So I know it's hard to believe, but there is corruption in the IDF and the Shin Bet. And so they're being charged here now with aiding the enemy, essentially, reservist soldiers over the alleged smuggling of prohibited goods into Gaza. The offenses include assisting the enemy in wartime. According to a Justice Ministry statement, authorities said the smuggled items worth millions of shekels included cartons of cigarettes, iPhones, batteries, communication cables, and car parts. I know, God forbid they get car parts. The ministry described the operation as an organized and sophisticated scheme carried out for profit. So you're not allowed to profit off of helping the people living in rubble, but you're allowed to profit off of murdering them. Oh. Beginning in the summer of 2025, while the genocide in Gaza was still going on. So have a cigarette while that bomb drops on your head. Essentially a joint statement from Aardvark Police and Shin Bet confirmed arrests of Aardvark citizens and Gaza residents accused of smuggling restricted goods into Gaza.
Well, like critical minerals?
No, cigarettes, actually, and car parts.
I knew immediately that these people were in trouble for smuggling. I'm like, oh, they were probably bringing stuff to the Palestinians, weren't they? Yep. Too bad it wasn't like food and water and medicine, the stuff they could really use. Instead, cigarettes. So hey, why are they getting in trouble? They gave them cigarettes, and cigarettes are not good for you, kids. So maybe they're just doing their part. You know,
It gave
I
them
know
some little bit of pleasure out of their miserable existence, and they can't have any pleasure whatsoever. You see, they got iPhones and batteries too. So the food, eating's overrated. Okay, last story of the day here, and then we'll wrap up this long broadcast. Aardvark High Court orders Netanyahu to justify why Ben-Gvir has not been dismissed. Aardvark Land's High Court of Justice today instructed Bibi to justify why he has not dismissed National Security Minister, your favorite homicidal maniac and mine, Ben-Gvir, in a decision endorsed by 5 Supreme Court justices. The court ordered Netanyahu to explain why he should not be ordered to the removal of Ben-Gvir from his position. Both Netanyahu and Gvir were given until March 10th to file their responses. The court said a hearing on the petitions will be held on March 24th and announced that the panel will be expanded to 9 justices. Reacting to the decision, Ben-Gvir accused the court of anti-Septicism. No, he didn't do that. He accused them of attempting to override the electorate's will there. But it would have been funny if he would have said, "You damn anti-septics," and they're like, "We're all septic," and then he's like, "Flush the toilet with these turds. Get them out of here."
this is terrible news for the Gazans, bro. The Palestinians, because this is probably going to spill out into the streets. People are going to get upset, start protesting and arguing again. And next thing you know, they're going to have to get back into some hot conflict. I mean, because right now things are calm because we're in the ceasefire. So it's like, they're just standing around with their fingers up their noses with nothing to do because, ceasefire. They're just sitting on their
Well, they killed 25 Palestinians today,
right.
or the last 24 hours, and they're continually. And I didn't even put up the link because I'm like, yeah, it's every day. They're bombing the hell out of Lebanon every freaking day, man. And so there's a ceasefire in Lebanon, though. Haven't you heard? That's why they're bombing the hell out of it every freaking day, man.
So maybe they need a bigger distraction. So maybe that's the answer to are they or aren't they when it comes to Iran, because they do need a distraction from their own personal problems, don't they? So does Trump. Not going to lie. They both could benefit. Yeah.
Wag the dog, anyone? Wag the dog? We need a big distraction.
I mean, haven't we done this 5-6 times now, at least?
Kind of their thing. We got the Epstein files, but we know that's a Democrat hoax. Trump not a part of it. We got a failing economy. We're in the golden age. Main Street says not really so much. It's looking real bad on Main Street. I didn't even get to the government, due to their 2-day shutdown, is not going to be able to release January jobs numbers, Ruckus, to us. So
again, that's
the economy
twice.
Shit. There's mass firings going on all over the place. Washington Compost fired 30, cut their whole sports department, but it's throughout all of America here now. But we're in the golden age, this asshole keeps telling us, complete and utter lies. So they got a bad economy to cover up for. They got the Epsteins to cover up for. They got a lot to cover up for here now. And so what other better way than bombing Iran?
I can't think of anything better than that. Neither can Lindsey Graham.
You got Bibi still ongoing corruption trial there in Aardvark land, that every time it seems that maybe something's going to happen, we got to go ahead and bomb Iran again. I mean, it's like, dude. So yeah, and then we got to keep Ben-Gvir in power because he's going to bring about the third temple, right? And so he has to stay put for sure to fulfill the Aardvark Messiah's return, according to their fake prophecy. So yeah, bomb Iran seems like a great solution to me.
But everything's fine because Trump wasn't really in the Epstein files, and neither was Elon Musk, so we're good.
They're trying to say that. Oh, yeah, it's all misunderstanding. They're like, here's a young girl wearing a SpaceX T-shirt. Well, that was a clear setup. They're trying to set up Elon Musk. He would never have anything to do with any of this. He's like too weird to even be invited to Epstein. They're like, no, he's even too weird for us. And they're like other planetary weirdos. And even Elon Musk is too weird to hang out with them. What is going on here?
It's a strange world.
Thank you, Ruckus, for joining us on this Wednesday edition. Very long show of Weaponized News. We appreciate it. Any final thoughts? And I'm just going to sign off because I'm tired too, as well as I know you probably are.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks for having me. Just don't forget, everybody, that we're watching you. No, I'm just kidding.
For your own safety, for your health, of course. You have all these issues.
Take 2 and call me in the morning. There you go.
You have all these issues you didn't even know you had until they told you had them, and then you're like, "Damn, save me, Bill Gates!" And he's like, "I got you, bro. Got you." All right, with that, I can't even go to the channels. I'm tired, honestly. So thank you, everybody, for commenting on all the channels. Sorry I didn't get to your comments. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this Wednesday edition of Weaponized News. As always, everybody, do your own research, peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Wednesday evening, and we'll be back here on Thursday for more.